Question is, what is the x coordinate? You're going to find the y coordinate of the centroid of this composite area from the given coordinate system. Now I've kind of circled it so that you notice it. Is that I have put the y-axis not over here so that the entire area is in the first quadrant. That's what I do when I'm working a problem. I just put the entire area in the first quadrant. That way all the x's and y's are positive. But in this case, I want to show you how what happens when it isn't, and the coordinates system is aligned here. So this triangular portion is to the left of the y-axis, so it's going to have an x that's negative. Okay. And then we have a semicircle, which is going to be a negative area, but it's located in a positive location. So we've got a positive area with a negative location, a negative area with a positive location. Okay, so all that's going to come out here. And I've added down here, if you see here, this is 4 and 6, and at one point one participant said, well, how do you know this is equal? Well, okay, so there's no doubt that this is centered. If you've got this 4 and that 6, it's assumed that it's centered, but that didn't satisfy them. So I went on and put a 1 inch here. So 1 and 4 is 5, so therefore that's 1. So it's centered. The semicircle is centered in the square that's 5 by 6 here. Okay, so I'm going to do this one by example. And what I'm looking for is really just the x coordinate. Okay, so I'm going to label, just so we all have the same labels here, that's going to be 1. 2 is going to be the rectangle, okay, and then the missing semicircle is going to be 3, okay. So that's how I'm going to label them. So therefore, what we have here is a total, right, is times x. I'm looking for x, so x sub c is going to be a1 x1, so that's in the area, plus a2 x2, but the semicircle is not in it, so it's going to be a minus a3 x3. So if an area is not in the area, you subtract it, okay? And then in the area total, same thing's going to happen. You got a1 plus a2 minus a3, okay? Now let's do, just to make friends with it, let's go on and figure the areas first. That'll help us with a little bit of getting there. Then we'll do the x's, x1, 2, and 3. So a1 is equal to this triangle, so that's going to be 1/2 the base times the height, 1/2 3 inches times the height is 6 inches. And so that's 3 times 6 is 18, divided by 2 is 9 inches squared. Okay, and you'll have the same areas. So A2 is going to be the rectangle. The rectangle is going to be 5 by 6. So that comes out to be 30 inches squared. And then our A3 is a semicircle, so that's going to be 1/2 pi r square. Typically, in fluids, I'll typically use pi d squared over 4 because you're always given the diameter of the pipe or something. But here, this is a semicircle, so we might as well do half of a circle, which most of us think of as pi r square. So we got pi 1/2, and the r, well, the diameter is 4, so the r is 2. So you got 2 inches quantity squared. So this was the whole circle, and this is semicircle, so it's 1/2. And for, I think I've mentioned it before somewhere along the line, when I have stuff with pi in it, I kind of do it to a couple of decimal places just to kind of hold accuracy. So this comes out to be 6.8 inches squared. Okay. Not a really good one. 6.3 would be okay, but it's just me doing a couple of decimal places. It tends to work out in the end to do that. Okay. But again, 6.3 would be perfectly. 6 is too 6 is too rounded. Okay, I know this is a whole number and this is a whole number, and you could use 6. Well, you get close. Okay, but might be a little bit much on the rounding. Okay, so a total is now 9 plus 30 minus 6.28 inches squared. And that comes out to be 32.72 inches squared for our total area. And that'll be the same for yours in finding the y coordinate. Okay, let's see where we're going to put up here. Well, I'm going to try to put our x1, 2, and 3 around here, so we've got the picture here in front of us. So let's do well, x1. Okay, well, x1. Well, the centroid of it is right about there, and from our thing, it's 1/3. So it's got a negative direction, and it's a 1/3 of the base. Okay, so we have is minus 1/3 of 3 inches, which is equal to minus 1 inch. Okay, so its x has got a negative value. Okay. Okay, then x2. Well, that's going to be easy. That's the axis is right here, rectangle. So in x is going to be half of 5. So what we have is 5 inches divided by 2. So this is 2.5 inches. Now the hard one here is, at least for me, is going to be for y'all is the centroid of an x of the semicircle is this way. In words, when I had it on that previous page, it was oriented this way, and this little distance right here from the diameter up is the 4r over 3 pi. Okay, so what we have here is x3 is equal to this distance, and the y-axis is here, so it's equal to 5 minus, and I'm going to write it out first, 4r over 3 pi. Okay, it's 5 out, back 4r over 3 pi. So this is going to be 5 minus 4 times r, and r was equal to 2. Now, it's going to be inches. 2 inches divided by 3 pi. And if you do this out, this will be to a couple of decimal places 0.85. So we'll do another step here. 5 times 0.85. And so what this comes out to be is 4.15 inches. If you just do 8 divided by 3 pi, you should get something to 2 decimal places, 0.85, maybe 848 or something like that. But let's do it. 8 divided by 3 divided by pi. Yeah, 8488. So it's like 849 or something like that. So again, to 2 decimal places, that works out. And so I'm really going to have 2 decimal places on x3, and I've got 2 decimal places on a3 actually. Okay. I'll put that up there like that. So we get this on here. So therefore what we have is then 32.72 inches squared times xc is going to be A1 X1. So its area was 9. So we've got 9 inches times minus 1 inch. So that term is going to be negative. Then we've got plus, get it back over here, plus the rectangle, 30 inches squared times its location, which is 2.5. So it'll be the positive. And then we've got the minus 6.28 inches squared times its location, 4.15 inches. Okay, so this is our A1 X1 plus A2 X2 plus minus A3 X3. So while the area is, while the combination is not in it, this is positive. Of course, this was negative. We took that out when we came up here and we were subtracting off the area. So it came out of net negative there. This one makes this term negative because its location is to the left of the y-axis. Okay. Okay, and when you multiply this out, you get the 2 decimal places, 39.94 inches cubed. So therefore, our x sub c comes out to be 39.94 inches cubed over 32.72 inches squared. Our unit is going to come out right inches. And when we do that, we get to 1 decimal place. That's all of our answers, 1.2. And 1.2 is answer A. And we had somebody send that in while I was working. So it is answer A. And what that means is if it's 1.2, it means that it is 1.2 from here over. Okay. So what we have is think of it is we've got this rectangle, and so taking out this semicircle, the centroid was at 2.5. So not even thinking about the triangle. Just taking out the semicircle would move it that way, so it would be less than 2.5, maybe 2 or whatever. But then we're adding on this side, we're adding more area, so it even moves it even farther. So instead of being at its 2.5, it's really going to be at its at 1.2. You can see how much there's more area to the left of the centroid of the rectangle than there is to the right.